So this is the video to start you out on creating your slab built mugs. Okay, so I'll just sort of show you the basics in terms of the type of slab you need to create. Later on, there'll be a demo video about handles and those sorts of things. So I have all my tools. I got my clay, getting have a pretty decent size. I've got my clay boards, my sideboards rather, I got my clay board, my sideboards. I have one of the rolling pins. It's all cleaned off. I've got my knife tool, that's cleaned off, and I have my scoring tool, which looks like a rib, but it's got these little teeth on there. So I need the small toothed ones, so the small scoring tools. Okay, first thing I need to do is to sort of get this in kind of a shape, because I want a long rectangle, long flat rectangle. So I'm just going to kind of do this a little bit, pat it. Okay, don't slam it, that doesn't do anything, just hit it with the base of your hand. Okay, then I'm just going to sort of push it a little bit, and I'm freeing it, pushing it over, kind of with your hand at first. It'll help it out in terms of rolling it. Okay, so now I'm going to start rolling. On either side, I've got my sideboards here, and I've noticed it's pretty thick, so I'm actually going to roll it this way first. But I'm not going to roll it too far, just going to do a little bit. And I'm standing, which helps me roll it out. I've got to make sure that it's tall enough to give me a good mug. So I might say that's a pretty good height. So I'm going to free it, set it back down. I'm going to roll it again. Okay. Free it, put it back down. I'll go ahead and roll it again. Try one more time, free it. That looks like that's about it. Now, if I had a regular rib, I could smooth it out by wiping it that way. It looks pretty smooth. I could fix it a little bit more. This side is going to have a texture, so you could leave that be the inside like that. I'm going to smooth mine out. Whoops, made a big chunk out of there. So that it doesn't have those wrinkles on it anymore. I don't want the wrinkles on the inside. Okay, so that's that. Now I've got to cut it into a rectangle. So I'm going to kind of free eyeball it here. I'm going to kind of push in, dent that in a little bit, and I'm going to say, all right, that looks like it's parallel. You can measure this too. I would recommend measuring. And then I'm going to just do this. That looks pretty good. And that looks pretty good too. Okay, then I'm going to use my knife tool. Now you could hold this here to make sure we get a nice straight line, which I'm going to go ahead and do. And I'm just going to sort of drag it through. Boom, there's one. I'm going to do it, turn it, do the second one. And I like to have a direction of pulling towards myself. That's a little off. All right. So I've got my form. Now I've got to make it into a cylinder. Okay. So I can just start. So let's see. Is that my good side? That's my good side. So I'm going to just start kind of curving it a bit, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to have to attach it like this, but I've got to do something specific, okay? Because if I attach it this, it's not really going to work out super well. So let's see here. We could do one of that. So I'm going to take one of these edges and my knife tool, and I'm going to line it up to the edge of my clay board so that it's all lined up. And there is a way to make this a little bit longer that I can kind of do by hand, but I'll probably have to help you with that so you don't stretch out your clay too much. So I'm going to do a mitered corner. So I'm going to have this is straight up at 90 degrees. This way flat is all 0 degrees. So I'm going to rotate mine half down this way And I'm just going to hold it here. I'm just going to slice that little chunk off. And so it's still the same length, but I have this nice angle there. Okay, that's going to help me out. So now I'm going to do this again. Curve it. Okay, to there. Okay, and so now I'm going to score it. So I'm going to go ahead and score it. I could probably just push it together, but I'm going to go ahead and score it just in case. So I take my scoring tool and rough it up. So this is going to go on this side here. So I'll rough this up as well. Okay, then I'm going to take my brush and my water, and I'm just going to kind of dab that on there. A little bit like that. Then I'll bring it up, curve it, curve it a little bit more, and then I'm just going to overlap and just kind of push it together, kind of all the way along there. So you can see that kind of pushing together here. I'm going to push it together. Now notice my hand, one of my hands is on the inside, so otherwise, if I don't, this is going to shove all the way in. So I've got my hand on the inside so that I'm applying pressure to both sides, like so. Let me turn that upside down again. I can kind of do this. And now I can take my thumb and sort of erase those lines a little bit. And I'm going to put my hand in here, just over like here. And I can erase that line. There's other ways to erase the line. Okay. If you still have a seam inside, you can run your finger. I'm cupping my hand here. You can run my finger, and I can press like this and like that to get that line erased. Okay. And if you need some help, I can help you out. And we have our cylinder. Now, when you go to put it away at the end of class, you'll need a plastic bag, and I'll have us do this before. The first thing is I'll have us do this. You'll get a plastic bag, and you're actually going to put your name on it in tape. So you're going to tape it onto the plastic bag, put your name on it. Someone else's name is already there, cross it out, turn it inside out. But this is how we bag them. So I'm going to carefully, now this one's got a hole in it, but I won't get another one. If they've got big holes, this one won't be used, I'll throw this out. But I'm going to put it in like so, okay? And then I'm going to pull the bag up, okay? Kind of squish it a little bit, like so. I can gently put it down in there, and I can kind of put my hand over it so the bag is sort of touching it. Okay, so just make sure it's all the way in there, okay, like this. And this can go on one of our styrofoam trays, and I'll put it on the shelf.